Want to see some of the greatest looking boots in the history of the world? The entire world? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the awards presentation ceremony for the 2022-23 Stitchdown Patina Thunderdome, presented by Grant Stone, Nick's Boots, and Standard & Strange. Over 800 people participated in the second Patina Thunderdome, a footwear aging and patina competition that was designed to celebrate well-made footwear, fabulous leather, and the highly intelligent people who love them both. The beautifully simple idea: get a new pair of boots or shoes and simply wear them for 6 months straight, tracking their progress throughout. But the Thunderdome isn't just about how any given pair looks, and I will say the results are, more often than not, remarkable. It's about the journey you go on together, the things you did, the challenges overcome. All of this seems highly overwrought, but those who participated can tell you it's all too true. And this thing is way more fun than it has any right to be. I'm Ben from Stitchdown, who put on this year's Dome, along with our incredible sponsors, who put together a similarly incredible lineup of over $35,000 in prizes, which means our highly deserving winners tonight, during this extremely professional telecast, are going to be winning very good belts and wallets and boots and boots and more boots, and even a trip to Tokyo, the one in Japan, where they'll also get a pair of boots. All of this is real. Oh, and this, the official Stitchdown Patina Thunderdome trophy. This is a real boot that we paid somebody to bronze. They did a great job. Yes, we are doing this Thunderdome again this year. It'll start October 1st, 2023 and run 6 months through April 2024. You'd be wise to start thinking about what pair to wear right now. And you can get on the newsletter list for updates at stitchdown.com today. To answer your next question, anyone who doesn't win this year's Thunderdome can direct all complaints to our esteemed judges, 2 of whom we have right here tonight. Welcome esteemed Work Dome judge Carl Morawski.
Hey, that's me.
What's up, Carl? And from the Open Dome side, esteemed judge Jussie, do come in.
It's good to be here. Good to have all these awesome results. So super excited to share all this.
There are over 50 Thunderdome winners total, all of whose leathery excellence you can see right now on stitchdown.com. We highly recommend checking that out. But at this moment, we're going to reveal the top 10 in both the Work and Open Thunderdomes. First up, the Work Dome, sponsored oh so wonderfully by Nick's Boots. Again, the top 15 finishers are all receiving fantastic prizes and the even more valuable recognition from people who also love boots. But really, prizes. We're skipping right to the top 10 here tonight, and let's let it rip. Coming in at 10th place in the 2022-23 Stitchdown Patina Work Thunderdome, our guy at Sam Snaps Stuff on Instagram, and his Golden Fox Overlord service boots in burgundy oiled full grain leather. $150 boot here. Love to see it. Carl, what'd you think of these?
So what made these stand out to me, at least, was that Golden Fox. You know, it's an affordable boot, right? So this is something that somebody would actually wear on the construction site, and it's just real honest. You can see some nice slump there at the ankle, and they've been worked in, but they've been taken care of, so they look awesome. Love these.
It's so true. Great value. Love some ankle rolls. 10th place. Congrats. In 9th place in the 2022-2023 Work Dome, at Jay Boydstagram's Nick's Boots Overlanders in Orween orange Predator leather. Anytime. What do you think, Carl?
Well, the Predator leather looks awesome, just the way it ages in general, but these actually have a little bit of tritone going on. So if you look, you have the real light on the heel. It gets darker where the creasing is in the back. You can see so many tones, so many different shades. And, he's got those orange bootlaces on there, which, match the leather itself too. These were one of my favorites.
Wear and care. It works. For 8th place in the Work Dome, we've got ourselves some Grant Stone cap toe boots. Kind of a borderline dressy boot in Annonay chocolate rusticaf, making kind of a surprise appearance, taking it home 8th place. This is a bold pick from the judges. I love it. And I think that our contestant here maybe frames houses, or there was evidence that these boots were being put to work, Carl.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? They're unexpected. Really, nobody I know wears Grant Stones on the site, but this guy clearly did. So he shows them next to his tool rig, and he's actually used them, as you can clearly see. So although they're not actual real dyed-in-the-wool work boots, they can still hold up to that kind of abuse, which we just thought it was really admirable. But even though they're not real work boots, clearly these things are made well enough that you can use them as such. So style points there for sure.
7th place in the Work Dome, our guy at Knob Nix's Frank's Boots Riker ATs, done up in Arif & Sons hand-waxed antique water buffalo, plus heavy waxed natural duck canvas. Really cool, unique PNW boots here.
They're work boots, right? There's no doubt about it. I mean, Frank's comes, originally from Nick's, which originally came from White's. Yeah, so they're work boots. There's no doubt. But I've never ever seen work boots like this, and that was kind of the deal. Like, they're so original with that cream colored canvas that's on there with the sole. In the beginning, they almost kind of look almost dressy. They're so different. And when you look at the beginning photos versus the very last photos, they've completely transformed. And I'll bet you that these things are actually pretty comfortable to wear, because even though it's canvas, and I'm sure it's very thick canvas, that flexibility and stuff probably worked out really well. And those soles are a little bit more forgiving than some of like the really tough 100 lug ones out there.
Yeah, I used to have a little, it's leather or nothing kind of outlook. I think that's shifted over time, and these things might have shifted it fully. I love these boots. So cool. Fantastic pick. The esteemed judges did a remarkable job here. An absolutely remarkable job. Taking home 6th place in the 2022-23 Patina Work Thunderdome is at Hobson Leathers Nick's Boots Lace to Toe in Orween brown wax flesh. The way these things evolved, oh man, they look good. They look real good.
Wax flesh is kind of like patina cheat code, right? Like, it really ages quickly and beautifully. And we had a few in there that were waxed flesh. And
not that many.
We actually kind of, there was like three, I think. I think there was 3, but yeah, we actually looked at all of them and said, all right, well, which one out of the group aged the nicest and had the most pleasing patina overall? Because they all frankly looked fantastic. In the beginning, they look almost black. At the end, they look almost like a light, brown or bordering on tan. And, just what you see around the heel, what you see in the ankle area. I mean, I just think these things are gorgeous. They're way better looking now than they were before.
They're doing something right. 5th place in the Work Dome at Monkley Boots. People have some great Instagram names in this contest. Fudge Crazy Horse Jim Green Razorback boots. Another crazy boot value here, under 200. Carl, back when we first got to know each other, 3, 4, whatever many years ago, you informed me about Jim Green boots. I hadn't even known about them at that point. Here they are, back in our lives.
It's so cool to see too, because when I originally heard about Jim Green, it was from somebody who worked in South Africa, and they said, you got to check out Jim Green. They're like our version of Red Wing. So I did, and it's so cool to see them here because, arguably they're the best value in work boots today. I mean, you can beat the hell out of these things, as is clear in this picture here, and they look better, and they ask you for more. So, in the beginning, they're almost like a nubuck type of feel and shade, and at the end they're shiny, which sometimes will happen in spots, but these were really nice all over. They put in a lot of work, a lot of hours. I personally have used mine when I was building this whole studio up here, and the way these things have richened in color, if that's a word, they just look unbelievable. And I think, honestly, again, they look better now than they did when they were new.
Jim Green, you knew it, Carl. You're a seer. 4th place in the 2022-23 Work Dome. Endurance Leather's self-made pair. The brand is also Endurance Leather. In hand overdyed Orween CXL horse strip. They've been through 3 soles in 6 months. Man. Yeah.
I mean, look at the richness of color. I mean, the abuse, just the abuse that's on these things. They tell a story, and that's ultimately what you want. And they definitely get style points for what they've been through with the resoles and everything, and being completely unexpected. They were just so original. It was like, this was on everybody's short list. And I know when I first opened up the pictures, I was like, damn, that is impressive.
And we were talking real short list here. This next pair, and the one after it, all in contention for the top spot. I mean, things were tight here in the judging. And go listen to that podcast that we taped with Carl and Jussie and Dave, Rugged Workwear, kind of breaking it all down. But man, did it get tense here. But 3rd place at North-South Denim Guys, incredible Riosa Mercedes X Black Bear brand Rough Rider Roper boots and Orween Marine Field Rough Out. These things probably encountered a pair of jeans throughout the contest. Could be wrong.
When you look up the definition of crocking in the dictionary, they actually show you a picture of these right here. It's amazing. When you look at actually this guy's story too, right? He's a supervisor, so he's not really kicking the shovel and doing the work. He's out there in the field regardless, but he's not necessarily putting them through the harshest conditions that we saw this whole time. But I mean, first of all, the tritone thing got me. I mean, I've never seen brown, tan, and blue on a boot like this. I mean, it almost looks somewhat patriotic at the end, and it's just so cool looking that it was like it grabbed everybody's attention. And then even the white stitching along the top started to pop even more as that indigo transfer was on there. And I think one of the reasons in the beginning, I actually had this as like my number 1 or number 2 pick just because of how dramatic the change is. But I think we started looking at it and it was like, they're not really work boots. The guy didn't really do a whole lot of manual labor in them, although a supervisor is just as important as everybody else on the site. But I think the whole thing was, it felt like an unexpected pick. Still, though, I would have had a hard time putting a boot like this at first place, even though it kind of broke my heart because I think they're absolutely gorgeous now.
One of the coolest boots I've ever seen. But yeah, these things are not easy to judge, which is why we only get the most esteemed judges available. 2nd place in the Work Dome, we're getting down there. An absolutely fantastic pair of Nick's Falcon boots in their proprietary 1964 brown leather, which Nick's painstakingly developed with Seidel to mimic the aging properties of leather they saw coming in on repair boots from decades ago. Love these things. Love these. Just a classic boot.
This was one, to be honest with you, when I first started going through them and looking at everybody's entries, this was one that I kind of skipped past. And it wasn't until a 2nd or 3rd look that I realized these have everything that you could possibly want in patina, right? The one that really sold me on it, the one photo that really sold me on it was that one shot of the sole. I mean, you can see that he's either climbing ladders or kicking shovels or doing something with them. And I mean, just really interesting too, because he's gone with the half sole, right? So he's got those built right half soles on there. And so they're this really, really interesting combination of somewhat refined, because honestly, in the beginning, you could take this boot and you could have worn it with everything short of a suit. And honestly worn them, took care of them. The picture of the toe at the very end, I love. These just had I honestly worked a hard day in these every day for the entire competition feel to them. And they felt very in spirit with the rest of the contest.
All right, it's time. We got to do it. The judges' winner, first place in the Work Dome, and soon to be proud owner of a custom pair of Shell Cordovan Nix Builder Pros, the most sensible boot available, at Amonix829 and his stunning Wesco Boss Engineers in natural veg tan. What a boot! And this guy was doing HVAC and plumbing in engineer boots. Like, pretty hardcore, it seems. What a pick. Did not see these coming once we had everything in. And here they are, number one.
Honestly, any of the top three could have won. And it was just the little tiny things that ended up putting first place and second and second. And I think for me, it was like when I look at these pictures and especially when they're standing up and you could see how much that shaft has begun to slump. And again, not exactly what you would expect as a work boot, but still, when you think of Wesco with the Mr. Lou or with the Boss boot, that's what they were originally designed for. So they really are work boots in the truest sense. And this is what a lot of people would have worn to work. Now, not in the modern day. This is a retro way to do it. But this guy, I think they look absolutely fantastic. And I mean, look at the variation of color between the toe and the upper part of that shaft. I mean, these were just some of the most beautifully patinaed and you know, you get that kind of caramelization in the color. In the end, it couldn't have been anybody else. This had to be it.
I love it. I love the choice. And you're right. This is it. And we're sticking by it and feeling great about it. Fabulous work. I mean, I'm 100% with you guys. I was around for the judging and, you know, but I remained impartial, especially on the work side. And you and Dave at Rugged Workwear did fantastic job here. That's the top 10 from the Work Dome, sponsored by Nix Boots. Don't forget that you can see all the winners of the Work and Open Thunderdomes on Stitchdown.com right now. And if you want to go deep inside the judging that got us here, check out that behind-the-scenes Stitchdown Shoecast podcast episode with our esteemed judges, really pulling back the curtain on the whole process. And if you're not subscribed to Carl Morawski's YouTube channel, just stop watching this video, because what he's doing is significantly more important, and take care of that. You can come back, but like, get after Carl. Love what you're doing, Carl. Every day, man. Love it.
Well, much appreciated, man. It was an honor, and to, you know, as a blue collar guy myself, from my days as a mechanic through being an electrician now and stuff, it's really cool to see these actually being put to work and see people who are doing this stuff have their own category. You know, it's a really cool thing, and finally somebody's kind of giving these things the respect that they deserve. So I'm happy to be a part of it.
All right, man. Thank you a ton. Can't wait to see a ton more next year. Let's turn the page. It's time for the Open Thunderdome Top 10. While the Work Dome is specifically geared, as Carl just said, towards people who are putting their boots through it professionally every day in a hardcore work setting, the Open Dome is open. Anyone with any pair from any walk of life can enter, but the results are no less remarkable. Coming in 10th place in the 2022-23 Open Thunderdome, what became known as the Priestbergs throughout our judging process. Black Merriam horsebutt Viberg service boots worn by a priest who teaches at a seminary, and dubbed them his boots of common prayer. Jussie Ducommon of Guarded Goods. You deal with a lot of leather every day and turn into incredible wallets, and everybody should buy your shoelaces. What did you think of these Priestbergs?
Yeah, so I mean, these had an absurd amount of discussion between all the judges. So I mean, if you look at the story presented, all of the photos, and just the overall package of these boots, this is ultimately what the Thunderdome is all about. And so, I mean, you look and start at the beginning of the journey of these boots. along with the kind of the poetic essay, it really allowed kind of all of us to appreciate the journey that these boots went on and kind of the reverence that was given to these by this Anglican priest, which is why they were affectionately known as the Priestbergs.
Priestbergs. Congratulations. Taking home 9th place in the Open Dome. Just an incredible pair of these ones. At Rio Fitch's, probably. Vintage Star Brand 92-foot tall dead stock from the 1930s boots. This guy found these things on eBay and was like, I'm going to put them in the dome. It worked.
Everyone kind of talked about these pairs throughout the judging, and really over time, as we looked at them again and again, really kind of appreciated the journey of the boots that these went on. And I would recommend that people start kind of at the beginning of month 1 if they look at the photos. Don't go immediately to month 6 because you look at the boots right away, and my initial reaction was, yes, that is a pair of like vintage dead stock eBay boots. Like, there's no way that these are realistically going to look that good over time with wear. But then you start to see kind of month over month the progress and patina that happened really on the toes and kind of starting to creep up the shaft. Just unreal amount of patina that you really don't see that often from something that you'd find on eBay.
They don't make them like they used to. God, I love these things. 8th place in the 2022-23 Open Thunderdome is just about the most ridiculous pair of Viberg slippers I've ever seen in black scuffed Orween shell cordovan. These things got worn a little bit.
This is a perfect example of that. It's not just boots that can win the open portion of the competition. And really, these slippers are kind of the definition of what pushing a pair of footwear to the limits is. I live in Minnesota. We get plenty of snow. I'm absolutely not bold enough to wear a pair of shell cordovan slippers shoveling snow, but this individual absolutely was, and it certainly paid off. So you just kind of look at the entire package of what these offer.
Love them. 7th place in the Open Dome at Boots and Brews NF bootmaker Milton Boots in Merriam Salvia horsebutt. Completely handmade by the exceedingly talented Nathan Florsheim. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, this is a combo effort. Nathan knocked it out of the park with these boots. Obviously, you just competition by having a cool pair of boots. You need to wear them and wear them well too. And so taking this leather, looking at the month 1 photos, seeing kind of that muted and matte salvia color from Merriam, while a really cool color, it just is amazingly better after 6 months of hardware.
6th place in the 2022-23 Patina Thunderdome Open Edition, the one and only at Big Dude Denims Nick's Boots Prospectors in Orween Natural Dublin, just resplendent in their veg tanness.
Yeah, this pair they're really good. I mean, this is kind of, I'd say the result of having a bold choice in Orween's Dublin leather, which can yield some really good results. It can be hit or miss though, depending on really how the grain is performing. And on this particular pair, with both the pattern from Nick's with the Nick's Prospector and this leather combination, it's just a perfect combination to highlight and showcase how these boots can wear over time. Looking at the initial photos, kind of that light orange tan color of natural Dublin, they went on a journey through this competition to really pick up some of that indigo and really having some of the very solid patina on that sprung toe.
Man, these are really good boots, all of them. 5th place, Open Dome, the boot aging legend. That is Varnu in his brown Chrome XL Nick's Robert boots. Brown CXL is a boring leather. Varnu would like to disagree.
Looking at this pair, kind of the first thought that I personally had when going through the photos of like, all right, ask me what the most basic leather that you could pick for a boot would be. And I'd probably say Orween Brown Chrome XL. So, I mean, this pair really took everything that I knew about Brown Chrome XL and threw it out the window in terms of how it could age. And that's something that really continued to stick out to myself and all the other judges as well, of like, this is a unreal transformation for a very standard leather.
Bar new. Swear this isn't because he bought me a beer when we were in Chicago and he came out and hung out. It's not about that. It's about the boots. Fourth place in the Open Dome, a repeat top 10 finisher from last year. Aaron Hubner's Sagara Boondockers in Merriam Natural Horsebutt Rough Out. These things have docked the booner too.
It's cool to see kind of how people take something as simple as a boot or a shoe or footwear that you're wearing on an everyday basis and make it their own and tie stories and life milestones to it. So, I mean, Aaron really eloquently described and showed what it's like to take your boots on a new life journey, in this particular case, across the country. So really what started out as looking like a pretty run-of-the-mill, standard-looking pair of Boondockers and Merriam Horsebutt Rough Out really ended up looking like kind of the perfectly shaped boondocker in the best possible transformation for Rough Out.
People got really good at this contest. Third place in the 2022-23 Open Thunderdome at Hennerol's Resplendent Roll Club Anniversary Edition Engineers, born of Shinki Hikaku, hand-finished black horsehide. Whew.
This pair really had everything that the judges were looking for. I mean, the documentation of the well-earned wear from month 1 to month 6 is great. The final photos are fantastic too. I mean, you can see kind of every hard-earned piece of wear and scuff, and just these boots were well loved and well taken care of too. But really kind of the final transformation and the character that you were able to see out of this leather in particular was really second to none.
I'd say it worked. Oh man, we're getting so close here. Second place in the Open Dome, Bootlickers. Again, the names. Great work, everybody. Sagara Cordmaster Monkey Boots, one of my personal favorite rugged boot patterns of all time. In Merriam Natural Horsebutt.
What a transformation on this pair. It can be a risky leather to pick just because depending on kind of what happens in your footwear adventure, you can pick up unsightly marks or scuffs or stains that make it imbalanced or a little unsightly. But like, this is the most perfectly and even patinaed boot in every single part of the boot that we saw. So I mean, from a very light colored natural at the beginning to really that evenly patinaed medium brown that we see in the final month's photos, this boot got a lot of conversation from the judges that really made us second guess our desire to buy a pair of lace-to-toe style boots. And I mean, Sagara knocked it out of the park with this Cordmaster pair.
All right, here we go. And finally, the judges' winner of the 2022-23 Stitchdown Patina Thunderdome Open Edition Grain and Twills Nix LL64 custom model with just an otherworldly Wicked and Craig natural double stuffed leather that ages like nothing I've really seen before. Luke Larson, we can say his name. I'm pretty sure it's out there quite a bit already. He works at Nick's. He designed these boots. He made these boots. And yes, Nick sponsored the Work Dome, but I can assure you there's zero influence in here. I swear. Jesse, can we assure that there's zero influence here, actually?
When most of us went through a lot of the photos for judging, I was intentionally really not looking at any of the names or usernames, even to have any sort of unconscious bias based on who was submitting them. I mean, this community is, while large, also very small. So, I mean, a lot of us know each other. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of went into it blind, just trying to purely look at the boots. And, I mean, looking at these photos, one of the first things I asked myself on any of these photos is, like, does the journey of this boot and how it aged make me want to buy a pair of these boots? And I can unequivocally say that this is a pair where I absolutely say, like, I need a pair of these. These are amazing. Just everything about this boot is pure perfection. Everything from the indigo crocking and all the subtle rolls that are occurring on the ankle and on the toe, and just how the leather went from that light brown, heavily kind of striated or striped look to that just perfectly golden brown perfection that it is now is just top notch. If you were to describe someone why you got into this hobby, why you're buying boots, what is the perfect pair of boots when it's aged? What does that look like? It's this boot. It's perfect. It's perfect.
These caused Nick a hell of a time throughout the contest because he was posting them, great photos. I was posting them, and it's not a boot that they make. They don't. This is a 5-inch boot for Nick's. It's like the way that they measure it. It looks more like what might be a standard 6-inch boot. They don't have dies for 5-inch boots, and they kept getting hit up and hit up and hit up. And they're probably gone by the time you see this. But they released 50 pairs, and it seems like this has got to become like a long-term stock model. So, Lucas, you did it, man.
I didn't get a pair, so I need a pair.
You need a pair. We all need a pair. You get a pair, and you get a pair. And Lucas, you have a pair. They're perfect. You and your boots just won a trip to Japan and a pair of clinch boots from Brass Tokyo, courtesy of Standard and Strange, and this, which is yours to caretake for 1 year, at which point she'll move on to the winner of the next Thunderdome. God, look at that. Look at that beaut. So that's it, people. Your top 10 winners for the 2022-23 Stitchdown Patina Work and Open Thunderdome editions, presented by Grant Stone, Nick's Boots, and Standard and Strange. Without a doubt, some of the best looking boots you'll ever see. All it takes is 6 months of wear and care. Don't forget to check out every single Patina Thunderdome winner on Stitchdown.com. Give a listen to the Stitchdown Shoecast, going behind the scenes of the selections with our esteemed judges. Support the sponsors, up and down the presenting sponsors and every sponsor. Thank you so much for making this possible. And if you want to stay up to date on Thunderdome 3, which starts October 21st, 2023, head to Stitchdown.com to sign up for the Dome Letter, which will tell you everything you need to know about competing and hopefully winning. See you next Dome. Esteemed judges, you're the best.